So you decided to start your smart home. That's great. Pretty sure by now you've already looked at all the videos on the cool gadgets that are included in a smart home, such as the smart lights, the different voice assistants, robot vacuums, all the cool things. Most of those videos won't tell you the frustrations of starting a new smart home. Alexa, what's the weather?
Sorry, it didn't detect the internet isn't reachable.
Today I want to talk about my top 5 frustrations I experienced when starting my smart home. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Now let's get into it. The first one I want to talk about today is compatibility issues. So you're new to the smart home, you're looking at all these cool gadgets, you're also looking at the prices. Some things are really expensive and some things are cheap. If you're just starting out, those cheaper products probably will grab your attention more than these, more expensive ones. For example, a $10 Tuya smart bulb versus a $40 LifeX bulb. Why spend $40 on a bulb, right? So you're probably going to lean more towards that $10 one. However, keep in mind, not everything works with everything. I guess that's the best way to put it. I guess an example I have is the Tuya smart locks. I bought one. It said it was Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all this neat stuff. So I bought it, installed it into my master bedroom door, and it didn't work. It only worked with the Tuya app. It didn't work with pairing it to Alexa and pairing it to Home Assistant or anything like that. Matter of fact, to this day, it still doesn't work with Home Assistant. In order to make it work with Amazon's ecosystem, I had to purchase an additional hub, a Wi-Fi bridge, if you will, to connect the Bluetooth to Wi-Fi. Makes no sense. Why not just build the Wi-Fi into the door lock in the first place? Other issues I had was, when I started getting into security cameras, looking at Ring versus the other ones, Ring was really expensive. Barlow was really expensive. Wise was not. Wise was like $20 a camera. So I bought their cameras and eventually got into their ecosystem with their locks, their light bulbs and stuff like that. Well, it does work with Amazon's ecosystem. It didn't work with SmartThings directly. And at the time, I only had SmartThings. So that was where I was doing all my routines and automations and stuff like that. And where most of my stuff talked to each other. That's where all my sensors were. That's where all my switches were. That's where all my lights were. So that became a problem. And that's actually what led me down the path of using Home Assistant, and then even furthermore using the Home Assistant Community Store app, because they had a Wise community app. And that's how I forced it to work. However, it was frustrating. I had to learn a lot of stuff, and being new to the smart home industry, or being new to smart homes, it was a little daunting. I mean, yeah, I work in tech, but smart home tech is a little bit different. I'm not a programmer, so working with config.yaml files and having to SSH into your Home Assistant to put this code in, it took a lot of time and a lot of research to figure it all out and iron things out. Starting out, you don't want to do that. You want to pick an ecosystem you want to stay in, but at the same time you want to have access to all the things. Now, Matter has promised that. I don't really have an opinion on whether they delivered that or not. I don't really need to use Matter because I use Home Assistant, but compatibility was a big frustration when I first started my smart home. The second thing I want to talk about is batteries. You're going to have a lot of batteries. You're going to be dealing with batteries draining, having to replace batteries, all kinds of different type of batteries. Aside from your normal AA and AAA, you're going to be dealing with like C2450s, C2s, C123s, CR, whatever. They all have these weird names, and you have to buy an array of them because your sensors aren't going to use the same thing all the time. I keep a stockpile. pretty big stockpile. Matter of fact, I have a lot of them on just subscribe and save, and just constantly ship because they go out. A lot of manufacturers say batteries last 2 years. That's a lie. It depends on how much they use, how much they're triggered. So if you have a sensor in a high volume traffic area, you're gonna be replacing that battery a lot more often. If it gets cold, the battery life dies. The quality of battery, what brand you buy, matters. Yeah, my second biggest frustration was always having to change out batteries and spending the extra hidden cost of buying these batteries because some of them aren't cheap. And if you do buy the cheap ones, well, they last a few months as opposed to buying a name brand one, which will last you maybe a year, depending on the device. So keep that in mind. It's an extra cost and it's an extra frustration because when they die, that automation might not trigger off that sensor. My third frustration was hubs and protocols, the different ones out there, learning about them, what hubs had Z-Wave, what hubs had Zigbee, what devices use those protocols, what devices use Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and what I needed to make a certain device work. So that was the real reason why I got into smart things, because the sensors were more reliable from what I understood at the time. Zigbee was great. It was what everybody was going to. It was supposed to be this great protocol. I mean, I had to spend time researching each protocol and understanding the differences between them. It was kind of frustrating because I just wanted to buy things that just worked with things. And I was like, well, why can't I go with the Wi-Fi? Well, you have tons of Wi-Fi devices. Eventually your network's going to get overrun with these Wi-Fi devices. I think I have 100 on my network right now. It's a lot, but I had the system to handle it. So looking at the different hubs and what antennas and stuff they had in them, I settled on smart things because it had Z-Wave and Zigbee, and it could integrate Wi-Fi devices via their app. Another issue is you'll eventually own more than one, unless you strictly just stay in that hub ecosystem. I have, I think, about 9 total. Some of them I don't use anymore. I have a Nakara hub. Home Assistant is technically a hub because I have the Sky Connect dongle on it. Smart Things, my Amazon Echo 4th Gen is a hub. Wise has a hub for its lock. Tuya has a hub for its lock. My Notion system has a hub. You get the point. You're gonna have more than one hub. You're not gonna have as many as I have because I do testing and I like to have all the things. But yeah, you're gonna end up with more than one if you branch out. So just keep that in mind. Research. Find the right hub for you and find the right ecosystem. Or find the right ecosystems. You don't have to limit yourself to one. But just keep that in mind. It was frustrating at first. I was always constantly having to buy this hub, that hub. My new Eufy system, there's a hub with that, the Homebase 3, so they would work locally and be encrypted and all that great stuff. But it's worth it, in my opinion. But if you don't want all that junk sitting around, then really plan out what you're going to do with your home. All right, so my fourth frustration, and it's still a frustration to this day, is troubleshooting my house. I work in IT. I troubleshoot all day long. I come home, something's not working in my house. Do you not want to work today? Automation's not working. Device is offline. Device is out of batteries. A hub is too close to my Wi-Fi router, therefore the Zigbee is being interfered by the Wi-Fi signal. That's a thing, so keep that in mind. A Zigbee dongle is too close to, my Home Assistant hub. Things don't always work all the time. In all the videos you see, everything works perfectly. They don't show you the other side of it, where all of a sudden, your smart things devices aren't online for whatever reason because they're not interacting with Home Assistant correctly, and you have to redo the entire integration to bring them back in. Or one of my recent ones I was just troubleshooting is goofy cameras randomly not showing up on my Echo shows when I ask them to. That's irritating because I use those a lot to see when I'm in different rooms, just check on the kids, check on the dogs, check outside my house in case someone shows up in the driveway so I can see who it is. If that's not working, that's a frustration. You're going to spend time with customer support. I've called Amazon's customer support, Wise's customer support, Ring, you name it. I've called them just when I have trouble and I've gotten to the point where I don't know what to do anymore. I call them. And usually it's like, well, there's a problem with this server or this service or this system, or there's an update that happened that knocked off the ability to connect correctly with this. So firmware updates, software updates are a big thing. Every time I have to update something, there's a little bit of anxiety that something's not going to work right anymore. My final frustration that I had in the beginning, and I still have now with smart homes, is what happens when you have an internet outage or a power outage. Internet outages, you can mitigate. If you go all local with certain devices and certain setups, it's going to take a little bit longer to figure that stuff out. But when you're first starting, you're not probably even thinking about that. You just want devices that are going to work. Your internet goes out, there's a lot of brands that require a server to connect with. Alexa, what's the weather?
Sorry, it didn't get fed. The internet isn't reachable.
Whether they be Wi-Fi devices or Zigbee devices connected to a hub, and that hub has to have connection to the internet in order to work. I don't know why some companies just design it that way, but that's something to consider. Power outages. So those are unavoidable. There's absolutely nothing you can do other than, put a backup battery on your whole entire house and a generator so you can keep your smart home running. We had a power outage the other night, and every time this happens, certain lights, when they get cut from power, don't remember their previous state, so they'll turn it right back on to the default state, which is on at 3 o'clock in the morning. All the lights are on in the house. It gets kind of frustrating. You can mitigate that by buying certain brands that remember their state. I think Govi's one for sure that does that. But when the power goes out, nothing in your home's working anyway. But it's when it comes back on, that the problems, the frustration, the little irritations happen, such as also having to restart some hubs. Like my home assistant I have to go power it on before any of my automations will work. It turns off on away, all my automations that happen based on where I'm at in my area, if I'm coming home, won't trigger. If my wife comes home, they won't trigger. Kids come home, it won't trigger. So it's a big frustration, but there's not a whole lot you can do without spending a lot of money. And even if you did have a generator during a power outage, I don't think your smart home's going to be a priority. I think most people will do their fridge, maybe something to make your life a little bit easier. Smart homes should make your life easier. If they're thought out and implemented right, they do. But there are still some frustrations out there that you'll have to deal with. Most of these can be mitigated by ecosystem and device choice, which if you're interested, I do have a live stream that I will do on the following Sundays after I release a video. If you made it this long in the video, I hope to see you there. If you have other frustrations than what I've suggested, please leave them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Stay smart, stay connected.
All right, I'm heading out. What the heck?